side by side. Sense and senseless, we cut through the noise. Two Southern Marines with that rebel voice. Grab a seat, pour a drink, let's make some sense. Or none at all, it just depends. Sense and senseless.
Welcome back to Sense and Senseless. I'm Bryan.
I'm Jason.
He's Jason. Yeah, last week was a little dark. I think y'all gonna enjoy this week. Strap in. We're gonna do a little history lesson. Titled this one 16 Tons of Gucci. The debt trap disguised as aspiration. I'm going to go ahead and bring us in with a little song to get us started so we can all be good and happy. With 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. That was 1955. Here's your December 2025 credit card statement. In the U.S., 1.23 trillion revolving balance, average APR 22.83%. Same damn song, different instruments, same chains.
Mm-hmm.
A few weeks ago, I heard this song, 16 Tons, and for the first time in years, and Tennessee Ernie Ford was singing about owing his soul to the company store, and it punched me in the chest. The song came out in 1946. Some sources say the lyrics go back even earlier. And the guy was already singing about being a wage slave who can't get ahead. If people felt trapped in an endless grind 80 years ago, then nothing about modern hustle culture is new. We've been sold the same lie for almost a century. The lie works like this: dangle the dream that anyone can get filthy rich if they work just hard enough. Keep the lottery tickets selling. Keep the hope alive. And make sure the only way most people can chase that dream is by going into debt for houses, cars, college, credit cards. Buy now, pay later. As long as we're all consuming and staying in debt, the machine keeps running. If tomorrow every regular person stopped buying shit we don't need and started investing a little we have, half the Fortune 500 companies would be bankrupt. That's where celebrities come in. They're the walking billboards for this illusion. They're paid enormous money to show us what making it's supposed to look like. Private jets, Birkin bags, rented mansions. So we keep chasing the image. Meanwhile, the actual wealthy, the old money families and private equity billionaires are invisible. You'll never see a Rothschild or a Mars heir doing a day in the life on TikTok. They do not need to. They own the damn game. They don't play it for clout. And the final trick convinces that nothing is worth repairing. iPhones, clothes, appliances, everything is designed to break or become cringe in 18 months. Planned obsolescence plus social pressure equals endless corruption. A society that throws everything away stays in debt forever. And the debt owner, by the working class, is the single best business model ever invented for the ownership class. So yeah, we've been played. The song was Warning in 1946, and we're still singing the same chorus, just with a better production and more influencers. Merle Travis wrote this song after watching his dad come home black with coal dust, pockets full of script that was only good at the company store. Bread, boots, dynamite, everything marked up 20, 50, 100%. One miner's widow testified in 1938, my husband died owing the company $87. They handed me a bill for the coffin at the funeral. That's the line that Merle turned into I owe my soul to the company store. That was 1946, but the trick never died. It just got a black card and Apple Pay logo. In this episode, we'll go through the history of how elites always pulled the strings on what we thought was a free market. From the Beacon Rebellion, where 1676 multi-racial group of poor burned the Capitol, causing the elite to panic and vent race, to a 2025 where you're handed the modern indentured contract, student loans, and TikTok. Let's dig deeper. I've always looked at the society as being separated by wealth and class more than race. Jason, where do you see this as far as the elites, the 99% versus the 1%? I mean, do you feel the same way that Ernie felt in that song that we're still being played today?
Yeah, it's like Groundhog Day. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, we talked about it earlier this week before we did this show and came up with this. And Lord knows I don't do anything to expand my mind, but I felt like, man, I might have to because this stuff's going to get deep. Because I I really think that kind of like Wizard of Oz, the Great Oz. I think there's somebody behind that curtain, behind the government, behind. I do think there's a couple families, to me, maybe a handful that own everything, and then
No,
it's just trickled down that it looks like that it's not right, that it's. But we're just continuously working and working and working and working just to spin, 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 and work and spin, work and spin, work and spin, work and spin, and it don't quit. And by the time you retire, I was talking to a guy at work about some of the guys that have retired, and a few of them only made it a couple of years and passed away. I mean, what
yeah,
what kind of life is that?
it's sad. I mean, a lot of the people that seen retired, they either passed away shortly after, or they couldn't enjoy retirement because their body was so broken down. There are exceptions to that rule. I mean, I see some people now, enjoying a little bit of retirement, and I'm happy to see that.
Hmm.
But I don't think that's you know the status quo. Most people can't afford to retire.
I can't.
Let alone have health when they retire.
Right. I mean, in
So
my
when
mind, I think I'm going to be still working till in my 70s. I mean, I'm just being honest.
yeah, I think a lot of real workers believe that their retirement is death,
Yeah.
and I think it's this rat race that it just keep us in.
Right.
And so I wanted to go at this a little differently. The way they actually separate us, they always try to separate us by race. I guess because it's just the easiest thing to do. And when I was growing up, and I don't know how it was for you all, but when I was growing up, race wasn't a real big thing. I grew up in a poor section of town and played with all races. It was a very diverse group of people at our school. I mean, it was just we all played together. We're kids, you know. But as I grew up, and you go to different schools and you start to have to intermingle with people that wasn't in your area, you start to notice how people that had better clothes and all look down on you.
Hmm.
And that's when I first realized, and I was very young, it's like these people don't like me because, I don't have what they have. They don't like me because
Right.
I'm poor, you know?
Yep.
These other people are poor just like me. It doesn't matter what color they are. We're all poor.
Right.
And they looked at them the same. So
Right.
I I always felt like we were more divided in a class than we were in race. But they tell us all the time that this is a race problem.
No,
And
I don't think it is. I mean, because right, I mean, you can't hide the color of your skin, right? So, I mean, I guess you could put some product on you or what if you were black, put some stuff on your face, try to white yourself up or whatever. I know like Eddie Murphy did it in one of his SNL skits or whatever, and then Dave Chappelle plays that white dude or whatever, and it's kind of funny. But anyways, you could still tell that they're black, that they're not white, but you could get. I mean, how many of those people at school that were wearing the nice clothes and all that? Wonder how in debt their mom and dad really was, right? Did they have
yeah,
the money, or were they in debt to hold that social standard? And but you're right, it was all based off of clothes and shoes and car, what car you drove, and all, and where you lived at, all that stuff. That's what segregated it. It wasn't color.
no. Even in color, you still get segregated that way.
Yeah.
So whites will look down upon whites and blacks will look down upon blacks by
Right.
class.
Right.
So in my opinion, that's the biggest separation. And
Right.
so I did a little look. I looked back into this, and we went back to 1676 in Virginia. It was a 29-year-old rich kid named Nathaniel Bacon. He gets pissed that the government of Berkeley won't let him genocide the local Indians for their land. So Bacon does what any reasonable person would do. He raises a private army of 500 to 600 people and marches on Jamestown. Who was in that army? Poor white, poor white ex-indentured servants, enslaved Africans who escaped when they saw they had a chance to save themselves, and free black small farmers. Even a few Indians hated Berkeley's taxes. For the shining moment in American history, the bottom 80% of every color looked at the planter elite and said, screw you, we're burning your capital to the ground. And they did. Jamestown, the first permanent English settlement, reduced to ashes in September 1676. The London merchants freaked out and sent the Royal Navy. And old Bacon, he died a few months later or so, of the shits and dysentery. So, what did they learn? This is what our government learned. Never let the poor unite across color lines again. That's what they learned, you know?
Yeah.
So, what did they do? Well, within 12 months, Virginia invented a race war. Their problem was they could never will poor whites and poor blacks to march together again.
Yeah.
So between 1676 and 1705, they passed a blitz of new laws. And basically what these laws did, they would give poor white people a privilege that the poor black people couldn't have, or black people just in general couldn't have.
Right.
Now, that privilege could have easily been offered to the black person, but they didn't, because now you can have lower whites that might think they're superior to blacks. And
Right.
even the ones that don't think they're superior to blacks, black people will still resent some of the whites because of the fact that they have, rights that they can't have because of the color of their skin. So either
Right.
way, you created an issue with these laws. And was it intentional? Was this the way that they originally started the race war?
It looks like it, don't it?
I mean, it does. I
And
so
it wasn't some man, it was the government that did this. It was
Well,
like,
yeah, it was the government of Virginia at the time.
yeah.
And so it says that all Africans were banned from owning guns, but whites encouraged to own them. Any slave who raised a hand against any Christian, code for whites, gets 30 lashes. Black women taxed like men, white women exempt. In 1691, interracial marriage banned on penalty of banishment. And in 1705, full Virginia slave codes, hereditary, lifelong slavery, and no rights. They literally invented the legal category white as a privileged club. So, yes, you give these poor white people the privileges that you're not giving their counterpartner. You're going to create friction. I mean, if you did the same thing within your company, you would create
Right.
a lot of friction. This one
Right.
can come in at 10 o'clock, but you got to come in at 6 in the morning. Why? Because he's white and you're black.
Yeah.
If you do something like that, I mean, you're going to create friction. And
Well, what's funny is the poor white guy didn't say, "Nah, if he can't have it, I'm not having it either."
right. Oh, I agree with that. And that's what I was saying. So you're going to
They
have,
knew that would happen, and that's why they did it, because then that caused, like you said, it caused the friction between the two poor people, not the poor black and the government of Virginia. It ended up causing friction between the two poor people.
yeah, it's, I don't know if they were that sinister that far back. Well, from what I'm reading, Yes, I would assume that they were just as bad as they are now. We always hear about the good old days and how good things were. And I mean, were they only because we didn't know what was going on?
Well,
You
we
know?
talked about that in another episode because media wasn't as prominent
Yeah.
back in the good old days as it is now. So,
Yeah. So I looked at that and then they got me thinking they don't want us to unite. All right.
no.
And that's evident. Basically, we've been fighting, 350 years later, the same war from 1677 to stop a class war.
Mhm,
Every time someone turns the volume up on race, ask yourself, who's quietly picking your pocket while you're yelling?
mhm.
And that got me thinking, how long we've actually been, are we, how long we actually been slaves? Because you remember, if you remember when they taught you history, it was the indentured servitude, sharecropping, and then
Mhm.
based off of what 16 tons, picking up coal,
Right.
and shit like that. And working just with squib or whatever that the money that you can only pay at the company store, so you getting paid and you're taking your money back to them. I mean, that's still slavery. They still controlling exactly what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the last 400 years, this is what it went through. So it's from 1619 to 1700, you signed a piece of paper in Bristol or Dublin. You worked 4 to 7 years for zero wages, 50% chance you died before freedom. All right. From 1865 to the 1940s, you had sharecropping and convict leasing, technically free, perpetuating in debt, jailed if you tried to leave. So, yeah, that was great for you, right?
Yeah.
And the, the 1880s and the 1920s, they had company towns, paid in scrip, own your sold to the company store, 16 tons, what we played for you earlier. Same thing.
Yeah,
The
they only
company,
paid you in something that was only good at that store. You couldn't go
yep,
nowhere else.
exactly. And they just
And like you
lined
said,
it.
they marked this shit up and yeah, got every cent and then some back from you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean
Sorry.
that's a hell of a business model though.
Yeah.
And then the 1940s, the 1980s, you probably remember this. I remember this hearing from grandfather and all talk about the good job, with the golden handcuffs, how great, it is to work for this company. But then the
Mhm.
handcuffs with the mortgage, car loan, the pension you were terrified to lose, that all held you to that one job. I'm not
Yeah.
saying I mean, you were getting paid, but we believe that we're free and you're really not. And
Right.
then the 1990s to now, you handcuffed with the student loans, the gig apps, 24% credit cards, at will employment, same
Mm.
leash, new material. You used to owe 7 years for passage across the Atlantic. Now you owe 40 years for a communications degree and a 2019 Civic at 9% interest. The contract just went digital and they convinced you it was your idea. you know, that's what they did. So
Right.
they always tell you, and I wholeheartedly still believe this today because it was beating my head, and I really believe it's the right thing to do. Is if you work hard, things are going to pay off. You
Yeah.
do see it every day though. That there's people that just grind and grind and grind, and they get no appreciation while everyone else is just fucking off. And they still making the same amount of money, and you question that, but your morals and you want to keep pushing because that's what you always told you. Who's the stupid one? You know,
Right.
I mean, fuck, really? Who's the stupid person? I mean, are we stupid for grinding it out? I mean, did they figure all this shit out well before we did? And like, it ain't worth doing it.
What what is what do they call that? The inflation. It's like 6, 7, 8, 9% every year, right?
Yeah, I mean, they try to keep it at 2%, but I don't know exactly what it goes
Come
through
on, dude.
every
The
year.
average is like 6 or 7% a year. And you know what most employees receive on their yearly raise? Between
Was that?
2.5 and 3%. We're never I mean, we're so far behind inflation, it's crazy.
And I believe that is that's deliberate in itself. You
Yeah.
know,
But yeah, companies are making record highs. And then they tell, oh, we turn around and invest that right back into the company, so we don't ever see that money. But these CEOs and the EV or whatever, all the big high dogs and the shareholders are making a ton of money. The CEO's making millions of dollars a year. Now, I'm not saying he don't have a lot of responsibility. I'm not going to lie, but there's big gaps when you hit a certain spot. Then like your worker and your supervisor are like this, and then your supervisor and your manager's like this, and then your manager and your director's like this, and then your director and your AVP's like this, and then your AVP and your regional your vice president are like this, and then it just starts gapping. You see what I'm saying? But this look from the director down to the tech is like this. You see what
yeah,
I'm getting at there?
I agree with that. I agree
Yeah.
with that assessment. And because
So
most CEOs is like what, well over 300% more than what the average of the company makes
yeah,
payout.
yeah. Most of them,
Yeah, and yeah, most of
most
them.
companies. Yeah,
And again, yeah, they got a lot of pressure on 'em. They got go do you, you know? That doesn't mean that it doesn't look bad.
no,
You
right,
know, that doesn't mean that most employees think that you care about them,
right.
you know?
No, we just
And
want a pizza party. But anyways,
yeah,
go ahead.
and that's the worst part. Is so you sit there and you grind, and so you're trying to do your best to make sure you have a job, you're feeding your family, and you're gonna have a good career at a place that you can stay to where you can retire and enjoy life after retirement. That's what everyone wants to do. Whether they get to do it or not, I don't know. But that's what
Right,
their goal is. So you stay with
right.
the company. And then what? I mean, they they or you once you retire from that same company you've been with, if they allow you to retire, are you set up enough to retire? I mean, do they really care that you stayed? Do you just get your pizza party? And you just it's kind of bittersweet because you put in so much time, with this company, and now you're gone and they just bye,
Right.
you know? Let's have a little pizza. And I was going over what we was going to talk about with Jennifer the other day, and then she had seen this old guy, and it went viral. It's a viral video of a guy, an old veteran. But I wanted to bring him in here basically because of what we're looking at now. I mean, we're talking about being, I don't know, not lifers, but staying with companies for, to retirement.
Hmm.
And that was the thing to do. And now people aren't doing that as much because, they see the light, and I guess I'm slow to see the light. But this poor old man, I mean, let's just check him out and we'll talk about it on the other side.
Just seeing if I could have help scanning this. Thank you. What was your name?
Ed.
I'm Sam.
Okay.
I actually had someone nominate you from this store and said you're very hardworking.
Well, I try to be.
May I ask how old you are
I'm 88.
and still working?
Yes, I have to.
Why do you have to keep working?
Retired from General Motors in 99. In 2012, I went bankrupt and they took my pension away from me.
Oh my gosh. Do you have a wife?
She passed away 7 years ago.
7 years ago.
She was sick when I lost my pension.
So you've been struggling a bit?
A little bit.
You said that you lost your pension?
Yes, sir, I did. I was in the Army back in 60, 66.
So you're a veteran too?
Yes. Thing that hurt me the most. My wife was real sick. And they, when they took the pension, they also took the health care coverage
Yeah.
and all but $10,000 of my life insurance.
Oh my God.
So I sold the house, sold property I had, and we made it through. My wife died 7 years ago. Since then, I've been trying to reestablish myself.
And you're working here how many days a week?
I work 5 days a week, 8 hours a day.
And you do that because you have to, or
Yeah, I don't have enough income
what's your dream?
to live somewhat the life I was hoping for.
Like to share your story and try and, get people to help you retire?
Oh, thank you.
Of course. You're amazing. I want to give you $400 here as a tip. Of course. You're amazing,
Thank you.
man. Of course.
I don't know what to say. It's going to go a long way to help me.
Give you a hug?
Yeah, thank you.
Man, that's unbelievable. Gave his life,
Yeah.
to the
88
company.
years old.
Yeah. And so he loses his pension and you supposed to give it all up for them.
Yeah.
And you have to.
That's
And what pisses me off the most. So GM gets bailed out in 2008. Not only GM, I mean, all the major motor companies get bailed out in 2008, but I'm saying GM because this man lost his pension because of GM. Well, it went through in 2012.
right.
And that's whenever he lost his pension
Right.
in 2012. Could they not have helped the employees? They took government money to take them out of their bankruptcy.
Right.
They were covered by the taxpayers' money.
Yep.
And then the same people that were working their ass off to build their cars or do whatever they had to do to make this company money,
Right.
they just wrote them off.
Yep.
And that makes us want to do more and more work. I mean, when you look at things in that manner, it's like, why do you, put in so much?
Right.
So how did we get here? I don't know. I don't know how we got to where it seems to where we're controlled by not only chasing dreams that will never get, or believe in everything that we see and what we have to do and how we were basically bred to bleed for these corporations.
Right.
And the next video I'm going to show, it seems like it has nothing to do with our conversation. And I think we had showed this on maybe on one of our first episodes, first or second episode. And you'll see why I put it in. Because it's hard to believe that we can be controlled in a manner that our whole life is just a psyop. We believe that we actually had control of it. And when you start to look at things in history and how it actually worked, I don't know how much we actually had control of,
Right.
and that's why this video itself makes so much sense.
To kind of illustrate this. This was done at I can't remember the university, but it was done by a guy named Dr. Solomon Asch.
And Asch experiment.
Yeah. So there's 10 people in a room, and he shows them 3 lines on a card. And they're like one short line, one medium line, one super long line. Then he shows a line on another card and says, which line on this card is equal to line B on this card? And it's obvious. The answer is very obvious. But 9 out of 10 of those people are all co-conspirators. They're part of the experimentation team. There's only one real volunteer in the room. So it goes down the line. Let's say the correct answer is A. But everybody in the room goes B, 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 all the way down this line of people. When it comes down to that final volunteer, they will deny reality. They will shut off the part of their brain that says, I know the right thing. I will completely deny what I think is real, what I think is good, what I think is the right answer, because all of these 9 people before me chose that. So this is the power, going back to that mammalian part of our brain,
Safety.
of the tribe. So the tribe now also serves as, remember that the mammalian brain runs on focus, authority, tribe, and emotion. So now they're in a room they've never been in before, doing something they've never done before, tons of novelty, right? So everything's brand new. So focus. Authority is also the people in the room. Those 9 people are not just tribe. Now that they're all agreeing with each other, they become tribe and authority together.
I need you to send that to me, because I might ask my preacher if we can play that at church, just to show people how we would sell ourselves out just to fit in.
Yeah, I mean, and
That's-
and
that's-
people that don't believe that, just think of COVID.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was unbelievable. The dumb shit, people swimming with masks on.
Yeah. Or somebody had one, Brian, I shit you not, it was like a baby wipe thing, right? With the flip down thing with hooked on the dude's ear, and he would flip it down to eat and then flip it back up when he was chewing.
The one that gets me is the one when the kids are playing in the band and they got a hole cut.
Oh,
through
for their
the
instruments
mask,
to go
yeah, to
through?
play the
Yeah.
instruments, or are they stuck in those tents?
Yeah.
They playing inside. It's like we're looking at this. We know it's stupid, but people are accepting it. It makes no sense, but it's proven right there.
Right. Now, can we go? I hate doing this because, man, there was a guy that used to work with us, man. This dude was like full-fledged conspiracy. I mean, he had all kinds of stuff, all kinds of tapes, all kinds of audio bites or whatever, proving stuff. And I just like, dude, you're way out there. But
He's starting to seem fucking
yeah,
right
now and the more I'm been talking to you and you're showing me this stuff and we're talking about this stuff and digging into it, it does start. You start looking at this, because what happened, Brian, at the beginning of COVID, the first thing they told us is don't wear masks. That's bad for you.
Yep.
There's no need to do it. If you get it, you get it. The mask isn't going to stop it, right? So we're like, all right, cool, no crap. You're putting this thing on your face. We've talked about it before with NBC in the military. We're not putting NBC mask on. We're putting these like cloth masks. People were selling them, right? T-shirts made out of T-shirts. T-shirts are breathable. You're not stopping any microorganisms from getting in. Then what happened? All of a sudden now masks are mandatory. So at first they told us the truth, I believe, Brian, that they're no good. They cause issues, blah, blah, blah. Now then they turn that stuff around. And did they do that to see how much we can control people with this?
I think it was a visual to see who they can control. That's what I think it was.
Yeah.
I don't remember
Because
the name of
Fauci and them wasn't wearing a damn mask during the press conferences every day. They weren't wearing them. And they
No.
were even asked, why aren't you wearing a mask? And they're like, oh, because we're tested and this and that and this and that. Like, yeah, come to find out that sumbuck had all kinds of money ties to that Wuhan place, right? And yeah, just like AIDS and whatever.
You can easily see what side you were on during that period.
Right.
And I don't even know if that would be a conspiracy theory, for COVID. I think it would be more of a theory. And I think there's a lot of shady shit that went on with that. But it just showed how much power they have over most of us. And that same guy will tell you that I think it's 7 times. Someone needs to hear something 7 times before they start to recognize it, start to remember it, before it gets embedded in their head. That's the reason why in media, the Mockingbird effect works so well, because you're constantly hearing it and it just becomes, yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
messed up.
We've talked about that because a lot of messed up people own the media, right? Control the media, and they tell us what they want us to hear. It's not always accurate. It's not, geez, they could come into our area and be reporting on something, and you're like, dude, that isn't what I said. Yeah, it is. That's what you said. No, it's not. Yep, that's what we said you're going to say, and that's
Yep.
all that matters.
Yeah, I looked into that too. I started putting some notes together, so we're gonna do a deep dive into that.
Yeah,
But for
so go
tonight, so how did how do we get to this position also? Um, and how did the old money change the game back then? You know, in the early 1900s, where it still affects us today. So there was Rockefeller and Carnegie, from what I gathered, basically by the school system.
right.
In 1902, Rockefeller drops the moderate equivalent of 650 million to create the General Education Board. His advisor, Frederick T. Gates, writes the mission statement that should be on every school wall. In the statement, we shall not try to make these people or any of their children into philosophers or men of science. We need workers, lots and lots of workers. Really? Carnegie jumps in 1905 with another few billion in today's dollars to create the Carnegie Foundation for the Advancement of Teaching. That's the 120 credit hour system your high school still runs in 2025. So why did he do this? So steel mills could literally schedule when the next batch of obedient 18-year-olds would be ready for assembly line. They built the walls, they wrote the curriculum, they funded the pensions so the teachers would never bite the hand. In Carnegie's private letters, he says, I want a nation of workers, not thinkers. I mean, seriously, they just
And I never knew who Carnegie was, but Carnegie is a big word in the school system.
yeah.
It's like there's learning seminars and stuff that are called Carnegie, right?
Yeah.
Carnegie Learning. And I didn't know it was a family. I didn't realize that.
So
I want a nation of workers, not thinkers. I mean, come on, people. This
and
is what the old school money people.
yeah,
That's
that's
what
what the
they
old school money is still
wanted.
has us by the balls today. They're basically running us through a mill, you know, breeding what they need. And I'm not just gonna say them either. The same thing can be said. I mean, the military is doing the same thing. You know, they using the school system to breed, you know, what they need. Okay. But this private, man, I don't know how I feel about that. They basically in one hand, okay, they built a system that gave you an education.
Mm-hmm.
Great. On the other hand, the education was based off of what they wanted to feed you,
Yes.
you know?
So,
And
Brian, that's not really education then.
yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, so
That's
did
you're training. You're training me. You're not educating me. You're training. The
and I'm
military
glad.
trains, Brian. They don't educate. They train.
Do you think their kids went to the same schools?
No,
If these schools were so great?
no, no. They kept the middle class, lower people in those schools, and their kids went to the elite schools to learn how to run business. They
So
didn't want
would
us to run business.
so would you say that's a class society?
Yes, it's not race. It has nothing to do with race. It's all about class.
How many other people do you know that you went to school with that are different ethnicities, you know, different races? I mean,
What?
did you go to school with just white people?
Yeah, I hate to say, mainly yes. There was like 8 black kids in our high school.
Okay.
None in my
Well,
grade school. Grade school and junior high, there was 0 at Seabrook.
okay. Where I grew up and even
Right.
where I live now, I mean, you throw a stone, you're gonna hit a different race everywhere you throw. So it is what
Right.
it is, right?
Yeah, it is like that now.
And so I guess what I'm getting at is that's your peers.
Right.
No matter how you look at it, that is your peers.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you agree on 100% of stuff, but majority of stuff you're going to probably agree upon if you can just get away from that, I don't know, 15-20% that you can't agree on. The people that you see at the grocery stores and all, those are your peers.
Right.
These people aren't going to the same education. They already shown that they are a class above us,
Right.
you know, well above us. If their school system was so good, their kids would be going there. But no, they're going to schools that you would probably never heard of, because their school system is a whole hell of a lot different than ours. Our school system's designed to teach us how to be the next line of workers. Their school
Right.
systems to show them how to take money and make money from their money.
Yeah.
You know,
How to set
they're
up trusts and hedge funds and things like that.
yeah, I mean, not
Run mock
like
businesses. Yeah.
one of the questions that we found coming through all this is in 12 years of public school, how many of you even had one class that showed you what compound interest actually does? How to buy a share stock, or why a 22-year-old putting $300 a month into an index fund will almost certainly retire a multimillionaire. Anyone?
No.
It
Dude, I had
says,
business class in high school, and I mean, they may have showed us a little bit on how to balance a checkbook. And I did run a mock business once and actually got the best grade in the class because I'd sold or made my product less expensive to sell a lot instead of charging a lot of money to sell a little. So I understood that, sell it cheap and get the masses other than the other way around. But no, I didn't know what that stuff was. I still don't know. I invest in 401k. I don't know what the heck it's doing. My dad
well,
kind of helped me out a little bit, and I leave it alone.
I think they taught us how to write a check, and
Yeah.
it says right now that 48 states now do require financial literacy. But the curriculum's written by like Wells Fargo, Visa, the American Bankers Association.
Yeah, the people that want your money.
Yeah. And in all of that you learned about how to sell and make money and the good grades you got on that project you did, did you learn that the S&P 500 has returned right around 10% a year for over 150 years? While
No.
wages, like you stated earlier, barely beat inflation, if beaten inflation. So if
Nope.
every 18-year-old left high school knowing that first sentence, the credit card industry would collapse overnight.
Mm-hmm.
If every kid graduated knowing that a 24% credit card APR doubles your debt every 3 years, I mean, would they get in credit card debt?
No. Well,
Or would they? I'm not going to say they wouldn't get in credit card debt. I guess you would know better. I really believe that some kids now have no idea that how much a credit card could hurt you because they grew up with credit cards the whole time. We grew up in a split, era where credit
right,
cards, what you had a credit card, but you had to go run it through the big machine and, you might've had like $1,000. It was a lot different than way you get credit cards now. Everybody got credit cards.
right.
So I think if they knew how the interest itself worked and that the money's just not free, you know?
Well, it's so if we go back and look at the amount of people that got into that stuff, got in that trouble, the percentage would be lower if they knew all this stuff, if they were taught this in school. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It wouldn't get rid of it, but it'd be a lot lower. And like you said, it could bankrupt a lot of the credit card companies.
Yeah, I think it would. I think it could hurt them because you wouldn't need it as much. The amount of money made on our debt and the interest
Right.
we pay. We're gonna go over that in a little bit. It's just unbelievable. And so they need us in debt. They need us buying shit. So they're gonna keep giving out these damn, credit cards, and people are gonna go stupid with them. It's
Right.
I don't know how you get out of that unless you get people out of buying shit that they don't need, and we all do that. That doesn't mean you need to live behind your means, but we're gonna go into that too.
Right.
So right now, looking at all the data, it says that 63% of Americans cannot cover a $500 emergency without borrowing money,
That's
and
crazy.
the average 22-year-old has $23,000 in debt
Stay.
Yeah.
You're well, my daughter, sorry, sweetheart, but she college to it, or college debt. So
Yeah, it don't
student
take long.
loans. No, it don't. And
So
she's
the
pretty
old
frugal with her money right now, but she's still in debt for college. So
so the old money versus new money. And this is when I mentioned earlier about celebrities.
mhm,
And when I was thinking about this, when I first heard the 16 Stone song, well, not first heard it, but when I heard it again a few weeks ago, all that led me to thinking, were celebrities just put in to sell us shit? You know, not so much like going into a commercial, but if you've seen so and so wearing this, maybe more people would want what this is. Where they brought in to do that kind of thing. And the reason I say that is when you look back, before, I guess, really television and all took off, probably, maybe a little further back than that. They wasn't looked at Celebrities themselves wasn't looked at as actual celebrity. They were fools or jokes. They were there for your entertainment.
right,
They didn't become something that everyone worshiped like it is today.
right,
So I wonder, and I could be very far off on this, and they might not have been put in. Celebrities probably wasn't put in the role to make us want to buy shit.
right,
But today, you can't make me believe that they're not there. Because I mean, we have people that are famous just because they're famous. They'd have no skills in the world. They might have sucked a dick or something, and they make millions of dollars because they were able to push them. Somebody seen them suck a dick and going viral, and they kept push it. Hooray for them. I'm not hating on them by no means. If I could suck a dick and make all that kind of money, it'd be great too. But I don't think anybody's paying me $2 million to suck a dick. I've never sucked a dick before, and I probably wouldn't be good at it. So
I don't know where we even got with this, but
so yes, if you
banana,
yeah, if you
banana.
can, I mean, leave that in there, because if you can make kind of money doing that, so be it. But you're only a celebrity because of what you did. You have no
Right.
talents. But why? I don't get it.
Well,
So
it's like the new music artist, Brian. I mean, I, I don't understand a lot of this music and these singers. They don't. It's not even good. I'm sorry, it's not. And don't call me old school. It's
No, you
not good.
probably are, because I can remember hearing my grandpa say the same thing about my music, and I'm not gonna say that their music sucks, because the younger generation music sucks. I agree with you, but it
Oh, it's
might be
horrible.
just because we're old.
Yeah.
So
I can't even remember what my daughter, we went shopping real quick so we don't get off subject, but we went shopping last Saturday at the mall for Christmas, and I turned my Spotify on and gave it to my daughter, and then she started playing this stuff, and I'll have to send it to you. It was horrible. Uh, Once again, sorry, sweetheart. But anyways, but yeah, I mean, it's celebrities. There's a lot of them out there that aren't even that good, but yet they're famous as heck. And it doesn't, maybe they did suck a penis or something, but
well, here's my turn on all that. Okay,
mm,
so you got the old money. When's the last time you seen a Rockefeller?
I don't,
You know,
unless you bring their name up, I don't even really know they exist.
no one does. I mean, because the old money people don't have to boast, right? But the Rockefellers and the Mars and the Rothschilds, I mean, they own everything. Okay. They own
Mm,
everything. So if they have a celebrity, and I'm not saying this is exactly how it works, but just say the powers that be have a celebrity that's pushing this purse or these
mhm,
shoes, you know, just to buy it to come back around. So they're keeping them popular
mhm,
to sell you shit, so they make more money to keep them popular to sell more shit. So as long as they're selling shit, they can stay popular.
mhm.
Well, you're trying to achieve what they're selling you, but you'll never be what the Rockefellers are. You'll never
No,
be what they're getting for selling you that shit, but you're
right.
consuming it because you're chasing something that you can never be. because you got this dream in your head that if you
so
just
you're
worked
buying
harder,
it. You're buying it trying to be part of them
Yep.
because you'll never be them.
you'll
But you're
never
trying
be
to be
them.
part of them.
But from what you see that is what success is.
Yes.
But you don't see the Rockefellers throwing their money away like that. You don't
No, I
see
bet.
them throwing these lavish parties and stuff like that because they know investing money is making money. Pissing
Right.
money away is not making money.
Yeah, buying stuff don't make money.
But they don't want you to know that because they want you to think that you can buy your way to the next tier.
Right.
And you can't. But as long as you think that way, you're spending your money.
Right.
And you're going to be a slave to the grind trying to make it there.
Right.
But if you quit spending your money that way and started investing your money the way that
Right.
they did, maybe you did better. The only problem is if everybody invested their money, then nobody's buying anything as much. You're buying what you need. You're not buying the shit you don't need. You're not chasing something that you can't get. You're satisfied with the means that you have.
Right.
But we built a society through the celebrities to make you unsatisfied. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep.
I know it's pretty deep, but I mean, when I started thinking about it, it's like, are they put there just to sell us shit we don't want or
Right.
don't need? Do you need designer stuff to really make it through life? You know?
Yes, I do, Brian. I got to be like them.
Well, I got one that said the celebrities, you know, they shout so loud for you to keep buying shit. So like Kim Kardashian, and I didn't even know what this was, but it was a $300,000 Birkin. So I had to look it up. It's like a purse, but it was made out of crocodile. $300,000.
Man, y'all got them left and right down in the bayou, don't you?
No, we got alligator, but I mean,
Alligators, but still, same. They distant cousins, you know.
yeah,
Jeez.
then this Albany youngest son is some prince. He had a like a $600 million wedding. It's like, what the fuck? You know, I
Why
mean,
you
really,
need all that?
I just can't see the people that run the world in these big money people that paid for our education blowing money like that. And why don't you see that? Why you don't see them in the news? Is it because they own everything? Why you don't hear anything about these people?
Right.
Why you don't see them in, you know, all these magazines of, you know, the Fortune 500 and Forbes and shit like that, you know, and they might be, but why is it not more in the mainstream? Who are these people? They pretty much own everything. The DuPont family, the Mars family, you know?
Well, it's funny because you don't hear the media doesn't cover them. Paparazzi doesn't get them. They're like
No.
hidden. They're the little dude behind the screen in Wizard of Oz pulling the.
They're the puppet masters.
Yeah, and these
And
people might
everybody
own
else-
the government. They might
Well,
own the government, dude.
It's quite possible, but because I really think they're the puppet masters and they're pulling a lot of fucking strings, man.
Yeah. Cause you don't hear nothing, man. Like Leonardo DiCaprio or who's Will Ferrell, any of these people go out or whatever, paparazzi's all catching them when they're trying to be on vacation, trying to get by themselves. They're always taking pictures of them and getting them at their worst and all this stuff. But you'd never see the Rockefellers, the Mars family, the Rothschilds, the DuPonts. You hear their products like DuPont paint, you know, that was Jeff Gordon's big car. You know what I'm saying? He drove that 24 DuPont.
I'm glad you brought that back up because they made their money, and I didn't know this, but going through all this, they made their money mostly off of like chemicals.
Mhm.
And a lot of those chemicals can be used in warfare, just to say.
Yeah.
But this one DuPont heir, he was convicted and caught of raping his daughter, 3-year-old. They have
Yeah,
allegations
that's
of the
disgusting.
2-year-old son too. Yeah, and he was convicted, but he didn't serve any time in prison because the judge said he wouldn't fare well in prison. He was 6'4", and so he ended up with like parole, or I don't know. He ended up, he was convicted of the crime, and he can't work anywhere, and he has to live off of a trust fund. Fucked his own kid, dude.
Yeah, and he can't work nowhere. He's got to live.
No.
He's got to live off a trust fund. I mean,
Yeah,
geez, was he working to begin with?
Exactly. It's, but you'll get, 30 days for writing a bad check. So yeah, there is a division there, and I can
Yeah.
say most of the people that are within where I live would have to uphold the same laws. We couldn't, not that I would ever want to rape a kid, but pull something like that and get away with it.
Yeah.
It would not happen and we're all different colors. That's the difference that they don't want you to see.
Right.
They want you to think that it's a racial thing, and it's not a racial thing. They made it a racial thing. It's a class thing because they realized that if we came together, that this class thing would end, you know? So we're still working for the same damn company store is what I'm trying to get at. If you haven't got that yet, same store, different zip code. So let's run the receipts on this. All right. The total U.S. household debt is $18.6 trillion. Credit card alone, 1.23 trillion. And that's at 22 to 24% interest. That's $280 billion a year in interest flowing straight uphill on just credit cards. $280 billion a year that the banks are making off of just credit cards. Now, who owns those banks? Just let that start to sink in. Student loans, 1.65 trillion. Auto loans, 1.66 trillion. Total interest extracted every year, 650 to 700 billion dollars a year of interest that we're paying on debt. That's not the US debt. That is consumer debt. That is debt from each household that we're paying back to the banks.
Right. That has nothing to do with our taxes that go to the government.
No, that has nothing to do with it. And if these damn banks fall, guess what? They're going to take our fucking tax money to bail them out. So that's a double fuck you. You're getting double penetrated by the fucking government.
That's right. And Lord help if we filed bankruptcy or whatever, we look like turds. But they get bailouts all the time.
You're a turd. Yeah.
Yeah, we are a turd, but what I'm saying is they get bailed out all the time, Brian.
Well, let this one sink in. That's 650 to 750 billion dollars.
Yeah.
That's more than the GDP of 85% of the planet's countries. What we're paying in interest, yes, is more than 85% of the country's GDP in the world.
Right.
So we could own our own fucking country. If we put all our interests together, we can buy another country.
Right.
And it flows to the same institution and whose founders made sure you never learn how to avoid paying it. How about that shit? That shit work out for you?
Yeah. Yeah, the people that didn't want us to think.
Yeah. And every single dollar of it was enabled by a school system that never taught you how to invest. Meanwhile, now the influencer economy is at $24 billion industry. Hashtag TikTok made me buy it has 100 billion views. Same psychological trick as the old company store. You need this.
My wife's selling stuff on TikTok, dude.
Oh, there you go.
She made a sale today. She went live and made a sale, got a $10 commission.
Damn.
Well, I mean, dude, they're selling shit left and right on that thing, man. I mean, I bought stuff up there. Okay.
Let me ask you this, though. What is anyone creating? I buy stuff off of TikTok. I do.
Right.
But what is that? most of that stuff is just, I'm not trying to be mean. A lot of it's made in China, it's bought and it's sold, and
Right.
you sell it through someone else.
Right.
Very little of it is stuff that's made. So what is that actually creating besides consumer? I'm
mean,
not
it's
arguing
just-
with you, but the GDP in the United States, I believe it was like 80% of the GDP is just from us buying shit.
Right.
Which, don't get me wrong, that's you should have to make stuff. You know, you should have to buy stuff. I understand that's part of, you know, how the GDP works. But 80%. So
Right.
majority of the time we're going out and buying shit that you don't need and we're throwing it away. Because I mean, we're just a consumer society. We have a lot of
Right.
waste.
Right. We do.
I
We
can
see
get
something
on the,
flashy and we want it.
yeah, I live right by the interstate, you know, I-10. Anytime I can get on 10, it seems like 24 hours a day, don't matter when I get on, there's a bunch of Mexican in tow cars. There's a bunch of people Mexicans towing vehicles back to Mexico to fix them. What we would do with them, they're just going to sit in the damn scrapyard. You know,
Right.
we're just scrapping them. They're bringing them back and fixing them.
Right.
We just throw shit away. And
Yeah. We're
the
wasteful.
society
Yeah.
was created. Why? Our money, we're working for this company, we're working for the same man, because we got to look past that layer that they want us to think that's there. They want us to think that the goal is just to reach the celebrity status, just to have a little bit of what you see on TV. That is the goal.
Right.
That's not the goal. It
They
shouldn't
don't
be a
teach us
goal.
to be content.
No, because they don't want you to. They don't want you to understand that they're frugal, even though they're close to being trillionaires. That they
Right.
understand that generational wealth is where you want to be. You know,
Right.
it's not the 26-inch rims. It's not all the guns. It's not, you know, the new truck or the big Jeep and the tires. It's not that shit. It's saving you money, enjoying your life with your family for generational wealth. And they don't
Right.
want you to know that. They want you to keep reaching for fame and fortune.
Right.
It's sick.
Have you ever been in rich people's homes?
Not in wealthy people's homes. No,
I'm talking wealthy. I'm talking people that have made money, that are making money. Dude, they don't have nice stuff. They have the
I
necessities.
imagine you did that
They
in your
don't.
job, huh?
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm not gonna, like I said, go too far into my job, but yes,
No, but
I had to go
I
in a lot of
understand
homes.
that. Yeah.
But like their TVs were not the nicest TVs. They were the older TVs. And when you would try to tell them, hey, your TV has got an issue, they didn't want to hear that. You better figure out how to make it work. And you're sitting there thinking like, man, you got a ton of money and you can't go out and buy a nice TV. They wouldn't, because that's throwing money away. Like you said, they don't want to be the consumer.
No, they want their money to make money. They know that's the way
Yes.
to make money.
Yes.
We use our
Anytime I got
backs
to pull,
to make money.
yes. Anytime I got to pull my money out of my making money area to buy something, I'm not making money. That's
Nope.
their problem.
But they'll
They
use your
didn't have
money
the-
to make money
Yeah, they didn't have the nicest of cars either.
because that doesn't make them money.
That's
It's
right.
a waste of money. You're right.
That's right. And I bet you if they had a business, they weren't teaching their people. They didn't have classes, LMS courses and things like that on Learning Central on their company website or whatever that taught their people how to invest their money and to make money. They don't want them doing that. I need you here working.
They make their money off of money. We make our money off of our backs.
That's
Our
right.
family, when you grew up, if your parents had money, it was to pay bills. So or buy something, you know, go buy
Right.
groceries. So when you seen your parents get money, the money was spent on something. And that's what
Right.
that's what you know about money.
Yeah.
They
It
always
wasn't
seen that
budgeted
their
to
money
be
was
invested.
No,
Yes.
no investment. You might have kept a little money in the back for emergencies. You might have had a little bit in savings for an emergency, but you didn't have much of anything. And when the money came in and the check came in, I know in my family, I watch my mom all the time sit down and, balance the checkbook and figure out what she's going to buy for this and this so she can get enough food for the next 2 weeks. And
Right.
it wasn't, we're going to take this and now we're going to invest it in this. No one knew how to invest shit. You were lucky you had a little money to put aside,
Right.
because we didn't go eat at McDonald's. We didn't have all those things. We had
Right.
food, and my
Right.
mom cooked good, thank God, but you didn't have all those things. And now that's where that's where they want you. They want you to keep spending your fucking money because they don't want you to understand and invest it.
Right.
And it's not racial, but they want you to think it is a racial divide. And I know they got to
Rich
keep us this
people,
way.
these big dogs, the DuPonts and the Mars family and all these big families, like we were talking about, they don't want us. They want to put all of us mid-class poor people down together, but now we got to keep them stirred up so they don't come together.
Yeah, they don't want you to come together. I mean, it was
No,
proven back in Bacon's Rebellion what happens if you allow common people
to come
to come
together,
together.
they'll
Yeah,
burn
and
a
understand
town down.
the majority of us, we want the same damn things. What we want, most of us want people to leave us the fuck alone. Let us live
Yeah.
our life.
Right.
We want our family to be healthy. We want to protect our families, and we want to be able to make an honest wage, to make sure that we can provide for our families. Pretty
Well,
fucking simple,
wasn't it Trump or somebody said they were going to come out or try to come out with a 30-hour work week?
That'd be great.
Come on, Bryan. I mean, do you think your company, mine can't work on that? My
can.
company cannot survive. It cannot survive
It could.
on third. They cannot just let me work 30 hours a week and go home and not work no more.
They could. People wouldn't expect less.
They're just gonna,
but they could.
Well, yeah, well, I'm saying, Bryan, they're gonna make me work a bunch of overtime. It's what it is.
No, it would depend on how the law read. If the law, it wouldn't be like the overtime. From what I was, and I don't even want to go into all that deep, but in my mind, if it became a law to where you only work 30 hours a week, like when I was in, I think it was Singapore, they can only work so many hours for 2 weeks straight, and then they had to take so many days off. And then you can only work so many hours in a year and you couldn't work anymore. That was law. And they have a work-life balance. Now I can say being over there, there's again, a class war. It's mostly there's a race, different races there too, but there is a class divide over there. It's a huge class divide, just like we have here. But that's how they treat their people to make sure that all of them have a chance to work. So everybody has a chance to work and everyone has a chance to get off. It doesn't have to be the way we have it. And then, don't get me wrong, I'm a full capitalist. I want everyone to go out and make as much money as you can make, and I don't care if we do a 30-hour week or not. Honestly, our guys work all the fucking time. I'm a capitalist. I have no problem with doing that.
Right.
The whole issue is the company don't give a shit about you, and they expect you to do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. They want all this time with no pay.
Yes. Or in some cases, they'll pay you until you break. And then once you break, you no longer need it.
That's right.
They'll work you till your body doesn't work anymore.
Right.
And they got the best years of your life out of you.
Right.
And then when you get old enough to where, well, you can't adjust into the office, you just, I know you're 65 years old and you probably shouldn't be on your tools anymore, but
right.
I ain't got nothing else for you. So you can either, I hate to say it, you can leave, but that's the reality.
Yeah.
And that's sad, to put all that out there. But I mean, that's the reality of the majority of us,
It's just the machine, dude, and it just eats everybody.
Yeah, and it's going to spit you out because we're not taught to do it,
Right.
but they keep us fighting each other, and that keeps it's I'm not even going to say, to me the fight is to make sure that you don't see what they're doing. As long as we're fighting with each other, we're not looking at everything else. There's always
Right.
this little class thing and that so you're not looking at what they're actually doing to you. And I think that's what creates the division. I mean, the real war's never been between black versus white, left, right, or urban or rural. It's the 0.1% and those fucking 99. The 0.1% of people that have
Yeah.
everything and the rest of us.
Yep.
But they give you that illusion of you can
They
reach
put
here
the
and you can
carrot in
have,
front of the donkey, dude.
yeah.
We're just chasing that damn carrot.
And they just keep wanting you to buy, like you can buy your way into,
Buy your happiness. Yeah.
well, yeah, you buy your happiness and you can also buy your way into being successful.
Right.
As long if you have this nice shiny car and these nice new boots and these nice jeans and even if you're not very successful, you look successful. And that's what they want to do, and that's what
That's why I
people.
said, how many of them kids in school that had the nice stuff were did their parents have money or were
Yeah.
their parents in debt? We don't know, never will. So,
Yeah, I mean,
and that top 1% didn't give a shit either way, right?
they don't.
They got what
That's
they
what
don't.
that's the problem is they separate us like that and they don't give a shit. They
Right.
don't hear us. We're not a voice at
Right.
all. We're just something in
And
the
we can't even
background.
say sheep. We can't even say sheep or cattle or whatever. We're not. You put cows out in the field or sheep out in the field, Brian, they all get along for the most part. They
Yep.
really do. And they know they're being worked or whatever. They follow whoever. They follow the shepherd. They follow the farmer. They hear them buckets clanking in the morning. They come running for food. They know when mealtime is. Dogs do too. Come to find out is the weirdest stuff. Dogs know by the smell what time of day it is. It
Really?
smells the same every time of day. So they know at 6 in the morning when you feed them what that smell is. So when they start smelling
their
that,
internal
they
clock.
don't. Yes, that's their clock. Is it's all smell.
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
But dogs, like I said, now, yeah, you got alphas and all that stuff, but I'm just saying, for the most part, we're worse than freaking sheep and cattle. We are, because we can't see past this crap that me and you're talking about to come together to say enough's enough.
Good.
I'm tired of being a slave. I'm not free. This ain't the land of the free and the home of the brave.
It is, but sadly, it's not what our found fathers, I would assume, envisioned.
Right.
And I hate to keep even digging further and further back to see if that was even, a lie. Because man, that would just break my heart if the founding fathers, didn't envision what they always taught us and what we joined the military for and Marine Corps and you went to Iraq and shit for. I mean, you know what I'm saying? If that was just a
Yeah.
farce, I would wholeheartedly not believe it. But
Right.
it would kill me to. But like you said earlier, with that guy you thought always was conspiracy theories, there's a lot of things that I look at all the time like, man, there's no way that shit's real. And then
Right.
you start, it's possible.
It is. It makes the more you look at it, the more it starts making sense.
Well,
What
so
you
let's
got
bring
next?
let's bring all this back full circle, so that the single most effective weapon ever used in the war is convincing us 99.9% to hate and fear each other instead of turning around and looking up. And here's the proof in chronological order. So in 1676, in Bacon's Rebellion, we had those poor whites, the enslaved Africans, and the free blacks unite and burn down Jamestown to the ground. And the elite, their response is that shit can never happen again. Then within 30 years, they invent legal whiteness, ban interracial marriage, arm poor whites, disarm blacks, and turn the buffer class against everyone below them. Races invented in America as a divide and conquer strategy to stop a class uprising. In the 1880s to 1940s, the literal company store was around. Coal miners, textile workers, lumber paid in scrip, trapped in permanent debt. And 16 tons is the soundtrack to that era. And then, Rockefeller and Carnegie buy the school system. We discussed that, 1902 to 1910. And then we go back to indentured servitude, 1996 to 2025, when it was indentured servitude 3.0. Student loans used to be something you could write off in bankruptcy, like normal debt. But now they're basically permanent. You're stuck with them forever, no matter how broke you go. And now we got the influencer economy and planned obsolescence, where we're throwing shit away that, perfectly good. Apple, I mean, I don't own Apple shit, but they did it worst on all that. And then you got Kim K running around with a $300,000 crocodile purse, showing you that's what you need. If you're going to be successful in life, a $300,000
I didn't tell you
crocodile
I'm giving
purse.
my wife that for Christmas. Don't tell her.
Yeah. And all she's doing is selling you aspiration to swipe another credit card.
That's
While
right.
meanwhile, the Rockefellers and the DuPonts and the Rothschilds are invisible, logo free, and still running the game that they've been running since 1676. Think about it. I mean, could this all be a coincidence? What is the answer, though? I mean, there's a bright side. So if you live below your need means and you automatically invest the difference in a low cost index fund, it could help you in the long run. You won't get all the credit card debt. I've been through credit card debt. It is a nightmare,
I've been through it too.
to get out of. If you have a chance, I mean, live below you means you don't need all the shit that they show you. It doesn't make you a better person to own shit. It doesn't. Do what's right. Get you a house, get you a car that's paid for, but you don't need all that designer shit. Quit buying the Gucci. What do you need Gucci for? What do you need all these high end things for? I was just talking about this cheap ass smartwatch I bought 2 years ago. I think I spent like $40 on it. I was surprised it was still working.
Right.
That's like,
It's probably the best thing you got.
yeah, and it hold up to anything. The only thing I keep is destroying the bands on it because I do so much shit with it. But
Right.
it works fine. I don't understand why everyone needs to have the next best thing.
Me and my wife's never owned a brand new vehicle, Brian.
And that's good.
Yeah.
Was Warren Buffett would say that a new vehicle is one of the worst purchases. And another thing that I've heard from one of the and they're not even considered, Warren Buffett is not even considered the point one, but I've heard read other rich guys talking about that they rent their toys. They don't buy their toys. So if like they want to ride in a nice sports car, they'll go rent it. They want to go
Because
on a
they know
yacht.
the new will wear off of it and you just give it back.
It's the depreciation.
Yeah.
The amount of money you lose in depreciation by owning it.
Right. Right.
And you can write off on things I think that you can rent. I mean, they have all that shit down to a T, and it makes sense,
Right.
So you want to ride a jet ski, a Sea-Doo.
Right.
So you can go buy one for $10,000-$20,000. Then you can go rent one for $300. Now
Right.
you can go rent it a few times for $300 and never get up to the 14,000, plus the depreciation you're gonna get whenever you can't sell the damn thing.
Right.
It makes sense, but we're not taught that way.
No.
So what you think, Jason? You think that all makes any sense?
Dude, it's crazy, man. We're nothing but what was that game? Lemon or no, what was it? It was these little dudes, and you controlled them by. Oh, I can't remember. It was back. I think it was back when we were in the Marine Corps. This game was out, like on a computer. It was
I
stupid
remember
as heck.
the Sims,
but they would not the Sims, but they would build stuff, and you had to like stop them to keep from falling off the cliff while guys built it up and all
I know
this
what you're talking
stuff.
about. Yeah.
And that's all we are. I mean, like I said, Brian, we're not even damn sheep or cows. I mean, they're above us.
It's a crazy world. We
Even
when
if
you
you
really
go and own, or buy your own business or own your own business, like say you're mowing lawns, like a buddy of mine, or another buddy of mine owns a lawnmower shop and or repair shop. Man, oh, dude, you go in there, it's just like, oh, I want it all. I mean, he's got a dually Cub Cadet mower. It's got dual wheels on the back on each side, and the seat is $10,000. Just the seat is 10 grand. It self
damn.
levels. Like you could be on an incline like this, and the seat sits straight to take your mind off of that you're on
Well,
an
see, yeah,
incline.
and see, I don't get into that because I mean I live on flat ground my whole life.
Well, if
So
you're mowing the bank of a pond or something like that,
I
is
mean,
what
it
I'm
makes
saying,
sense to me though. Yeah, it makes sense when I think of it
or a
in that
football
aspect.
field.
Yeah,
Right.
I just couldn't see spending $10,000 on a seat, but I mean everything over here is flat.
Yeah, it's like
So,
a $25,000-$30,000 mower,
good
and the
lord.
seat's 10 grand on it. And
But that's somebody
but what
that's
I'm getting
buy
at,
something
dude,
useful though.
yeah, but you think you got it, man. I made it.
Yep.
I made it. I got my own business. I set my own hours. I make my own money. I'm successful, man. You ain't shit. Pardon my French. You ain't shit, because you got to keep buying stuff to keep that stuff going, and you're just as a consumer as the rest of us.
Yep, and they taking their money and just living off of their money. I mean, that is they were smart.
Dude, these people you were talking about, the Rothschilds and the DuPonts and the Mars family, that's generational wealth.
Yep.
Generational. Like they will never be broke.
I'll say it like who's that damn
We
comedian?
could all come together right now, Brian. We can't burn them down to the ground. We can't.
Chris Rock.
Right.
He used to say the difference between being rich and wealth. And they said, rich is Shaq. Wealthy is the white man that writes Shaq's check.
It's check. Yes. Yeah, I remember him saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he said, if Bill Gates woke up with Oprah's monthly, he would
he'd
jump
kill
out a window.
himself. Yeah.
You know?
He committed suicide
Yeah.
because
That
he had
difference
major
between-
losses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's right, man. It's so what do we do, Brian? How do we handle this? I mean, what do you
Live your life better than I did. I mean, learn how to live beyond below your means, and just understand that you don't need live off experiences. You don't need shit. You don't need to fill up a storage shed. You don't need to fill up a shed. You don't need all these little things, that these trinkets through life. You need experiences. You need to be able to enjoy life, and enjoying life is not just spending money. And trust me, that's coming from somebody that just spends and wastes money. I get it. I'm really bad in this cycle. And even looking at this is like, wow, just straight program. And it wasn't that I'm trying to reach an elite status. If you had money, you spent money. That's just what you did. It wasn't investments, and I don't know about investments, just like you, Jason, talk about. I got a 401k. I tried to buy stocks before. I suck at that. I don't pay enough attention to them. I don't understand them. I wasn't taught to do that, and I do need to go out and, learn a little bit on my own, especially after doing this research. But man, I really believe we've been played, and we're still being played, and we're going to be played the rest of our lives, at least. I mean, I don't think we can stop this, but I think of more people wake up and you start talking to your neighbor and understand that we have a lot more in common with each other than any of these other people that's pulling our strings. We might be able to turn this shit around, but until then, I mean, we all shopping at the company store.
Yeah. Man, my family must have been geniuses in school, dude, because the work ethic is like off the chains, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Because I was sitting there fixing to ask you, are the people that don't work, that live off the government, are they the bad ones now, Brian?
I don't know. I ask myself a lot, you know, am I the stupid one?
They're the ones
know?
sitting at home getting to spend time with their kids and
Yep.
family while me and you're busting our butt and missed a lot of stuff because we got to buy at the company store, right?
I'll take it one step further in doing all this. I always question whether living in a tribe is better than where we live now. And don't get me wrong, the United States is the best country to live in, and I'll never knock that. I mean, this country can go to hell,
Right.
you know, in a handbasket, and we're burning it down. And I still believe this is the best country you can ever be in.
Right.
But I am curious about, you know, all these few tribes that stayed their way, you know, for all this time. And so I started looking at that also. And there was a guy that did like a 20 or 25-year study in that. And what he come out of is they have a much better lifestyle than we have. When you look at, they work 20 hours a week on average, you know, for hunting and, you know, farming and getting, but other than that, you know, the time spent with the tribe, the family, dancing,
Right.
singing, you know, they're all spending time together. They're not, you know, in the separated rooms playing on phones. Now they do have issues, you know, with kids dying early and births and medical attention and all that other stuff. So yes, I mean, we have great things when it comes to that, but I do think we need to take a step back from doing everything we can for our jobs and start looking at our families. You
Right.
know, I really believe that. So
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to chew on. I know last week was real dark with the sextortionists and stuff like that. But this one here is just like, man, I'm just, when you know you're getting played and the numbers are right in front of you, that all you are is just a cog in the wheel of the machine. That's all you are.
yep. And you think that you're not, but I think we're really more programmed than we'll ever know. And
That's right.
it's sad. But I want to keep digging into all this. But for right now, I mean, question your spending, prioritize your experiences over just buying shit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Support policies for fair wages and try not to fuel the machine anymore. Remember, true wealth isn't flash, it's freedom from the debt trap.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I thank y'all for tuning in. Like, subscribe, share, follow. This is Sense and Senseless Podcast. I'm Bryan.
I'm Jason.
He's Jason. I'll see you guys next week. What you got, Jason?
See ya.
Peace.
Peace.